Hello and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Fantasy Pick'em plays for Monday, September 16th, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up a promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app for a deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000 or 50% of whatever you put on your account for your first deposit. Highly recommend it. They've got specials going all over the place right now, but let's get to today's slip. I'm doing all Monday Night Football on the show slip today, and the spread in this game is 5.5 points, at least at the time of this recording, with the Eagles being the home favorite against the Falcons. Not very impressed with the Falcons so far. Obviously, they played a tough defense in the Steelers in week one, but Kirk Cousins didn't really move that well. Their defense the Steelers have been, in 2 games, the Steelers have just played the most vanilla offensive game plan you'll ever see in the NFL, and somehow they were able to move the ball enough to get into field goal range often against the Falcons. They kicked 6 field goals in that game. So again, I'm not really too impressed with the Falcons D, and that was at home. And the offense on the Eagles is much better than what the Steelers will see. And then on the other side of it, I don't necessarily trust the offense for the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is okay. I know there's a lot made out of his, splits and how he performs in prime time, but a lot of that happened when he was on the Commanders back when they were still the Redskins and they were terrible. I don't necessarily think that a trend of fade the primetime player is a big thing, but maybe file that one away. That being said, I think that the Eagles are going to win this game, so my slip reflects that. We're going to start out with Kirk Cousins to throw an interception here. Again, I just think that there's going to be a lot of pressure by the Eagles front on Kirk Cousins in this game, so I think that he's going to have to throw some jump balls up there. And there's guys in the secondary for the Eagles that can make a play on the ball. They should also, they should have plenty of opportunities to get some jump balls. He's got jump ball receivers like Kyle Pitts, like Drake London. So if you're going to throw it up in 50-50, I like my chances of getting one. And this is a flat multiplier. So give me Kirk Cousins to throw an interception to start this slip off. Next, I'm going to go to Younghoe, the kicker for the Falcons, to have higher than 1.5 field goals made. Again, I just think that they're going to stall in the red zone. I think that they should be able to move between the 20s a little bit. And Koo is a good kicker with a strong leg. I think the weather should be fine for him to kick a couple 40-yarders in this one and win this game or win this pick for us. Younghoe Koo, he's a social media kicker. He's on YouTube. Check him out. Watch his videos. Watch his trick shots. Because, again, he was on the Chargers before. He was on Georgia Southern, Georgia State, one of those schools growing up, and then or in college. So grew up in the area. So he is a hometown hero. And I like Kirk Cousins' offensive struggles to pair up with this field goal prop. So it's Kirk Cousins interception, Younghoe Koo higher than 1.5 field goals made. The last one, Saquon Barkley higher than half of a rushing touchdown. This is so key in using these vulture protections that Underdog has by singling in on a running back like Saquon Barkley, who plays with a mobile quarterback. So you don't want him to get to you don't want the team to get to the 2-yard line, and then Jalen Hurts sneaks it in or scrambles it in, and you don't get your rushing touchdown for your star running back who is built for these situations. That means if the Cousins interception comes home and the Younghoe Koo field goal pick comes home, but Saquon doesn't rush one in, but someone else on his team does rush one in from under 10 yards, you get your money back on this slip, which is just massive, massive value. It's just kind of a joke that, that they even offer this. It's just crazy value for Underdog to have this option, because compared to what sportsbooks do, some of them will refund stuff if there's an injury, but this isn't even an injury. This is just saying if your running back doesn't score a rushing touchdown and someone else on his team does from inside the 10-yard line, you get your slip back if everything else comes home. So there's a massive expected value there. And by choosing rushing touchdown as opposed to rushing plus receiving touchdowns, you go from a negative multiplier of 0.81x to a scorcher multiplier of 1.14x. So the rushing differentiation really makes a difference here. If you want to play conservative and play either or, feel free. But for me, it is just going to be a rushing touchdown with Barkley. That's what he's there to do. He's there to poke one in from close up. He in the Brazil game, he scored for us. Let's get him to do it again here. These 3 picks together is a 5.31x multiplier, or 5.13x multiplier. So it's about plus 413 for a 3-leg same game parlay in sport betting terms. Again, it's Kirk Cousins to throw an interception in Monday Night Football. Younghoe, the kicker for the Falcons, to have higher than 1.5 field goals made, and Saquon Barkley higher than half of a rushing touchdown. Again, there's other options in here, and that's a 5.13x multiplier. And if you want to flex it, you can get a 2.5x and a 1.07x if it goes 2 out of 3. But again, I'm going to be playing that. I've already played that as a straight up multiplier. And given that it has Barkley rushing TD, and then everyone's going to see the vulture protection logo on his thumbnail picture on the app, everyone's going to be taking it. So you might want to get that one sooner rather than later, especially if you're playing Saquon Barkley in sports bets and not even on Underdog. If you're one of the people who just likes fantasy advice on this show, get him early. Do not wait. He was already at like minus 190 for an anytime touchdown I saw on DraftKings, which is way too high. By the time the game is starting, I'm imagining that he's going to be minus $2, minus 215, something like that. So do not wait on that. There are some other legs that I was looking at on this slip, and maybe I'll make another one just for fun when the game goes off. But you could do the Saquon rush plus receiving touchdowns instead of just half of a rushing touchdown if you want to play it a little bit more conservative. I also think there's some sack props that are viable for the guys on the Eagles front. I mean, I think Jalen Carter is a good option. I think Brandon Graham's a good option. I just don't think Kirk can get away from anyone. And the offensive line looked terrible. Obviously, TJ Watt's the best defensive pass rusher in the league right now. So the Steelers looked great against him. And I think the Eagles are going to have some guys that are not as good as Watt, but guys that can definitely generate pressure. So I think throwing those guys in the slip would be a great way to look at it. And also, Jalen Hurts higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I know A.J. Brown is hurt. A.J. Brown's not playing in this game. So everyone's like, oh, it's going to be all ground game, all conservative, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it matters. I think that Dallas Goedert can catch touchdown passes. I think Saquon Barkley can catch touchdown passes. I think that Devontae Smith can score touchdown passes or catch touchdown passes. I think there's a lot of options here for the Eagles. So I would actually take that plus multiplier on 1.5 touchdown passes for Jalen Hurts before I tried to fade him due to the A.J. Brown news. Obviously, A.J. Brown makes things easier because A.J. Brown is awesome, but it might be a market overreaction because, again, the game plan for the Eagles, I don't think is going to change that much. And Devontae Smith is about as good as a wide receiver 2 as you'll find in this league. He'd be a wide receiver 1 on some teams. I mean, definitely on teams like the Panthers. So I don't really worry about this one as well. I think that is also a fun way to juice up this slip if you wanted to add it to your slip and have Jalen Hurts higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. But all right, I've talked a little bit about some of these bonuses that that Underdog is offering this week in the NFL. I mean, there was profit boost tokens over the weekend. There was free squares. I think it was CeeDee Lamb, half of a yard, which obviously came home. There's so much stuff that Underdog is doing. They're doing discounts on Tuesdays. They have discounts on college football on Saturday. So there's so many options for you to play with on the Underdog app. If you don't have it yet, you should. If you're a sports bettor, if you're a prop player, if you're a fantasy player, there are so many options on Underdog for you to sink your teeth into. And again, I recommend using promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the app because you get a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. So if you put $100 on the app and you get 50 for free with promo code DailyDog, you can use that with bonus slips and promo slips that let you take advantage of all these extra plus EV opportunities. Use your bonus cash with a profit boost token of 25%. You are not going to find value like that for same game parlays on any of the same game parlay sites. That's just a fact. So I would highly recommend getting involved on Underdog if you're already making these types of wagers because it is a value that you won't be able to beat anywhere else. All right, let's go to the Dontg Squad, the most fun part of the day. We give out our home run picks. I'm starting out with Christian Walker versus Antonio Senzatella up in Coors Field for the Rockies. Walker is obviously for the Diamondbacks. He has hit home runs off Senzatella a lot. Senzatella gives up a lot of home runs. A lot of the guys on the Diamondbacks roster have hit a lot of home runs off Senzatella. And Senzatella has only played 7 2/3 innings pitched so far this season, and he's allowed 3 dongs in that short sample size. So he is pitching out of desperation. He's not pitching well. The Rockies just need arms. I think that the Diamondbacks are surging right now, and I think Christian Walker, after he's been hurt, he's back in the lineup. He's seeing it well, so give me Christian Walker in a very advantageous spot at Coors Field with wind blowing out versus a pitcher who throws a lot of meatballs. Next, we're going to Shohei Ohtani. Shohei, I told you, he's going to be on the Dontg Squad every day. Shohei is facing Max Fried of the Braves. We're closing out this series. The Dodgers had an offensive explosion on Sunday. Shohei was a part of that. I think he hit 2 doubles in that game. He is, Fried's a lefty. He's a lefty, so it's not really, it seems like it wouldn't be an advantageous matchup. But Shohei is 3 of 3 versus Fried in his career with 1 home run. Small sample size, but it doesn't hurt, and it's Shohei Ohtani. He can hit a home run versus anybody. It doesn't really matter who is pitching. Next, we're going to Luis Robert to juice this one up a little bit. The White Sox slugger, who is not hitting that many home runs this year. He's obviously missed some time for injuries. He's only hit 14 home runs on the year, but he gets to go against Reed Detmers of the Angels. I just think Detmers allows so much hard contact, and I think Luis Robert, with a nice advantageous wind condition of 13 miles per hour blowing straight out in center field, is as good a shot as ever you're going to get with Luis Robert to hit a home run. Walker and Shohei's numbers are their multipliers are a little bit suppressed. You juice it up with Luis Robert, who's obviously capable of going yard versus anybody. You know, he's a home run derby participant, and Reed Detmers, again, gives up a lot of hard contact. So those 3 guys make up the Dontg Squad. If it goes 3 out of 3, you get 57.27x return on your money. If it goes 2 out of 3, you get 11.1x. So that's still 10-1 odds in sports betting terms. Again, the Dontg Squad is Christian Walker, Shohei Ohtani, and Luis Robert. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Let's make some money.